The early harmony at Ferrari has been dramatically shattered as bombshell reports reveal Charles Leclerc has told the team he's going his own way with car setup, directly challenging Lewis Hamilton's influence at Maranello. This shocking development could trigger a civil war within the most famous team in Formula One, potentially derailing their entire 2025 season before it's properly begun. As reports emerge that Ferrari has been hanging on Lewis's every word since his arrival, Leclerc's declaration of independence threatens to create two separate development paths within the same garage. Has the honeymoon period for Hamilton at Ferrari already come to an abrupt end, and what does this mean for the future of the Scuderia? According to Italian publication Corriere dello Sport, Leclerc delivered his stunning ultimatum to Team Principal Fred Vasseur on Saturday night, after qualifying at the Japanese Grand Prix. The Monegasque driver reportedly made it clear he wants to pursue a very different setup direction for his SF25 starting immediately at the upcoming Bahrain Grand Prix. This extraordinary move comes after Leclerc outperformed Hamilton in race conditions at Suzuka, finishing fourth while Hamilton could only manage seventh place. What makes this situation particularly explosive is the revelation that Ferrari has been prioritizing Hamilton's feedback since his high-profile arrival from Mercedes. The seven-time world champion was brought in not just as a driver, but as a technical leader who could guide Ferrari back to championship glory. Yet just 3 races into their partnership, it appears Leclerc has seen enough to conclude that following Hamilton's direction is not working for him or the team. It's disappointing because when you put everything together like we've done this weekend, I think the balance was in the right place. There's just not enough performance in the car, Leclerc said after the Japanese Grand Prix. His words carry a clear message. The current development path, heavily influenced by Hamilton, isn't delivering the results Ferrari needs to compete with Red Bull and McLaren. Hamilton himself hinted at underlying issues within the team after Suzuka, making the surprising admission that there's a performance deficit between the two sides of the garage. We found something on the car that's been underperforming for the last 3 races, Hamilton told Sky Sports F1. I'm really hoping when that's fixed, I'll start getting better results. This rare public acknowledgement suggests Ferrari's problems run deeper than just differing driver preferences. The timing of Leclerc's stand couldn't be more critical. Ferrari is currently preparing significant upgrades for the SF25, including a new floor designed to improve balance and drivability. With the team sitting 4th in the constructors' standings with just 35 points from 3 races, these upgrades could define their entire season. But now they face a dilemma. Follow Hamilton's development direction as initially planned, or accommodate Leclerc's demand for a different approach. Running 2 different setup philosophies within the same team is rarely successful in Formula One. It divides resources, creates engineering confusion, and can lead to internal friction that damages team morale. Yet ignoring the feedback of either driver, especially when Leclerc has consistently outperformed Hamilton in race conditions, could prove equally problematic. For Fred Vasseur, this presents a nightmare scenario just months into Hamilton's Ferrari career. The Frenchman now faces the unenviable task of managing 2 world-class drivers pulling in different directions, each convinced their approach is best for the team. Any favoritism shown toward either driver could exacerbate tensions within the garage at a time when unity is desperately needed. Bahrain offers an interesting opportunity for Leclerc to validate his stance. As Vassur himself noted, with the 4th race of the season taking place in Bahrain, we get the opportunity to see how much progress we have made with the SF25 in terms of extracting its potential since we were last here for the pre-season test. With recent comparison data available, any improvements from Leclerc's new setup direction will be clearly measurable. Hamilton's struggles to adapt to the SF25 have been evident from the outset. While he has repeatedly emphasized the complexity of the adjustment process, telling media that outsiders completely underestimate what we actually do, the results speak for themselves. His best Grand Prix finish remains 9th place in Australia, with his only moment of glory coming in the Chinese GP sprint race before his disqualification from the main event due to technical infringements. The technical challenges facing Ferrari are substantial and complex. The SF25 has been plagued by inconsistency since its debut, showing flashes of potential but failing to deliver when it matters most. Australian Grand Prix revealed severe tyre management issues and strategic weaknesses, while in China, both cars were disqualified, Hamilton for excessive skid block wear and Leclerc for being underweight. These problems hint at fundamental setup and balance issues that have yet to be resolved. Hamilton has acknowledged that the SF25 is running higher than we would like, a comment that suggests ride height problems that could be compromising aerodynamic performance. This would explain the car's unpredictable behavior and lack of consistent pace across different circuit types. If Leclerc feels that Hamilton's approach to addressing these issues isn't working, his decision to pursue an alternative setup makes strategic sense. What's particularly striking about this situation is how quickly it has developed. When Hamilton's move to Ferrari was announced, many predicted a harmonious relationship with Leclerc, who publicly welcomed the 7-time champion to the team. The Monegasque driver even suggested he was excited to learn from Hamilton's experience and technical knowledge. Now, after just 3 races, that collaborative spirit appears to have evaporated. Leclerc's frustration is understandable given his performance so far. Despite Ferrari's struggles, he has consistently extracted more from the car than Hamilton in race conditions. His 4th place in Japan represented Ferrari's best result of the season in a Grand Prix, demonstrating his ability to maximize the car's potential even with its limitations. For a driver who has been with Ferrari since 2019 and signed a long-term contract extension, watching the team prioritize the feedback of a newcomer, even one as accomplished as Hamilton, must be difficult to accept. The power dynamics within Ferrari are now at a critical juncture. Hamilton arrived with enormous prestige and influence, expected to lead the team's technical direction based on his years of success with Mercedes. Leclerc, meanwhile, has been Ferrari's standard bearer through difficult seasons, consistently outperforming his teammates and demonstrating unwavering loyalty to the Scuderia. Which driver's vision will prevail in this battle of philosophies could define not just Ferrari's 2025 campaign, but potentially the next several years of the team's trajectory. There's also the question of how this situation will affect the relationship between Leclerc and Hamilton personally. Thus far, both drivers have maintained a professional and cordial public relationship, with no signs of the tension that characterized previous Ferrari driver pairings like Vettel-Leclerc or Alonso Raikkonen. However, if the team begins to visibly favor one driver's technical approach over the others, that harmony could quickly dissolve. For Ferrari, this situation represents yet another challenge in what has already been a disappointing start to the season. The team entered 2025 with high hopes following their 2nd-place finish in the 2024 Constructors' Championship and the high-profile acquisition of Hamilton. Instead, they find themselves 4th in the standings, behind not just Red Bull and McLaren, but also Mercedes, who many expected to struggle after Hamilton's departure. The upcoming Bahrain Grand Prix now takes on added significance. If Leclerc's new setup direction yields improved performance, it could vindicate his decision to break ranks and potentially shift the team's development focus. Conversely, if Hamilton's side of the garage finds solutions to their underperforming elements, the 7-time champion's influence could be reinforced. Either way, the results will have profound implications for Ferrari's internal dynamics. For F1 fans, this emerging rivalry adds another compelling storyline to an already dramatic season. The prospect of 2 world-class drivers working in opposition rather than collaboration within the sport's most iconic team creates a fascinating subplot to the championship battle. Will Ferrari find a way to harness the talents of both drivers, or will internal conflict undermine their chances of returning to the front of the grid? Lewis Hamilton's much-anticipated move to Ferrari has created a storm of excitement in Formula One. The 7-time world champion joined the iconic Italian team with hopes of securing his record-breaking 8th title. However, his start with Ferrari has been far from smooth. Hamilton's debut at Albert Park resulted in a disappointing 10th-place finish, trailing behind teammate Charles Leclerc. Ferrari's performance has left them languishing in 5th place in the constructors' standings, marking their worst start to a season since 2009. Despite these early challenges, Hamilton showed promising signs in China. He dominated the sprint qualifying and secured his first win for Ferrari with a commanding victory in the sprint race. This breakthrough moment demonstrated that Hamilton still possesses exceptional speed and skill behind the wheel. Ex-F1 driver Ralf Schumacher said, "What did surprise me is that he really got on really well with the car in the first practice session, and that was always such an issue for him. He proves that he still has the speed because that's always a bit of a question as you get older." The main Chinese Grand Prix proved to be a dramatic turning point in the Hamilton-Leclerc relationship. During the opening lap, Hamilton moved over around the swooping turn 1, making contact with Leclerc's front wing. This left the Monegasque driver in a compromised position, forced to complete the entire 56-lap race with damaged equipment. What happened next was unexpected. Despite his damaged front wing, Leclerc displayed superior pace compared to Hamilton. This performance disparity led Ferrari to issue a team order halfway through the race, instructing Hamilton to move aside for his teammate. The final result saw Leclerc finish 5th, with Hamilton trailing in 6th, before both were later disqualified for technical infringements. The incident highlighted potential issues within the Ferrari garage. Ralf Schumacher said, "I think Charles Leclerc also woke up. I think that annoyed him and there was some tension. Hamilton wasn't used to being told to drive fast on the teammate's side." In the aftermath of the collision, many expected Leclerc to express frustration toward his new teammate. Surprisingly, he took a different approach. Speaking to the media, Leclerc defended Hamilton, stating,
"In the race, let's start with that incident first of all and your take on it."
Yeah, I mean, honestly, it's not Lewis's fault at all. And on my side, I was just around the inside trying to position the car for turn 3. And Lewis didn't know I was there. I did not expect Lewis to come back taking the apex at the moment he was at.
Leclerc classified the incident as a routine racing situation. "It's a racing incident. It's not the first or last time it will happen. Shame it happened between the two red cars."
At the end, it's a racing incident. This is not the first and last time it will happen. It's a shame that it happens between the two red cars.
When questioned about his decision not to change the damaged front wing during his pit stop, Leclerc explained,
"To do a lot better. We didn't want to take the 8 seconds at the pit stop of changing a front wing because then I will need to overtake cars, and we were very weak in turn 12, so that was making us very vulnerable with the cars behind, and it was very, very difficult to make any overtakes because on the way up to turn 14 we were just too far off. So I didn't want to take that risk. I just wanted to keep track position by then and try to maximize the result."
This measured response indicated a strategic approach from Leclerc. Despite the obvious setback, he recognized the importance of maintaining a positive team dynamic, especially so early in the season. The on-track tension was overshadowed by post-race events. Both Ferrari cars were disqualified from the Chinese Grand Prix results, delivering a devastating blow to the team. Leclerc's car was found to be 1 kilogram below the 800 kilogram minimum weight requirement, while Hamilton's car was disqualified due to excessive skid block wear. This marked the second time in 18 months that Hamilton had faced disqualification for skid block issues, following a similar incident at the 2023 United States Grand Prix. For Ferrari, the double disqualification represented a rare and embarrassing technical failure. Former F1 boss Bernie Ecclestone revealed the impact of these disqualifications on Ferrari's leadership. He said, "I met the former Ferrari boss Luca di Montezemolo at Eric Clapton's 80th birthday party. He was horrified by Ferrari's 2 disqualifications in China. Italy had never experienced such a disgrace since the start of the World Championship." Ecclestone criticized the team's oversight, particularly regarding Leclerc's underweight car. Ecclestone said, "There was clearly no control center to check the cars after qualifying. There has been an age-old rule about being underweight for decades. Drive through the mud after crossing the finish line and collect as many stones as possible with the tires in the gravel." The Chinese Grand Prix revealed potential friction between Ferrari's star drivers. Ralf Schumacher's observations highlighted an underlying tension that could define their relationship moving forward. When you don't know the team that well, you're new. Until you get the hang of it, until your engineer understands you, it takes a few months, Schumacher explained, referring to Hamilton's adjustment period. Of course, it wasn't in free air, which makes a big difference in China, and his teammate passed him with the broken wing because I have to say, for the aerodynamicists, put 6 broken front wings in, they will work just as well or better than a whole one. This technical insight explains why Leclerc maintained strong pace despite the damage. However, Schumacher's next comment revealed a deeper issue. It's a bit of a hard one to understand, but I think he did a good, solid job. And I think Charles Leclerc also woke up. I think that annoyed him, and there was some tension. Hamilton wasn't used to being told to drive fast on the teammate's side. Express Sport reported, Schumacher believes there was some tension between the Ferrari drivers and suggested that Hamilton was annoyed with his team's strategy. This growing tension threatens to undermine Ferrari's championship aspirations. With both drivers being natural competitors with championship ambitions, managing this relationship will be crucial for Team Principal Fred Vasseur. Beyond the teammate dynamics, Hamilton may be developing broader concerns about Ferrari's capabilities. After years of success with Mercedes, the 7-time champion is accustomed to operational excellence. The early mistakes at Ferrari have raised questions about whether Hamilton can trust his new team to deliver a championship-worthy car. Former Aston Martin strategist Bernie Collins identified potential trust issues developing. He said, "It's a bump because Ferrari had the wrong strategy in Australia. In China they have been disqualified, so should have done better, and they arguably had the wrong strategy because Lewis should not have pitted for a second time." Collins continued, "So it is a bump. If they go through it and they find whatever's wrong, then Lewis can get over that pretty quickly. But it's one of these little things that adds to the lack of trust." This assessment highlights the fragility of the relationship between driver and team in Formula One. Repeated strategic missteps and technical failures can erode a driver's confidence in their team's decision-making. For Hamilton, who left the familiar environment of Mercedes, these early setbacks could be particularly damaging. Fundamentally, it's the race engineer's job to ensure that the car is legal. Each race engineer for each car, it lies with them that the car is legal, Collins emphasized, highlighting the specific responsibilities that weren't met in China. Despite the tension, both drivers have shown impressive individual performances. Hamilton has demonstrated superior qualifying pace, particularly in the sprint sessions, while Leclerc has excelled in race conditions. The head-to-head battles between Hamilton and Leclerc in F1 2025 have been intense. Hamilton currently leads in qualifying but has yet to finish ahead of Leclerc in a Grand Prix. This performance disparity creates an intriguing dynamic within the team. At 40 years old, Hamilton is proving he still possesses exceptional speed. Ralf Schumacher said, "He has the speed now. It's just a question of can he keep it up. That's what I meant from the start." For Leclerc, competing against a 7-time world champion provides both a challenge and an opportunity. Outperforming Hamilton would cement his status as one of F1's elite drivers. The Chinese Grand Prix showed that Leclerc is capable of matching and exceeding Hamilton's pace, even with a damaged car.